Imagine this, the most powerful man in the universe, the one who spoke galaxies into existence, shows up on earth and no one notices. No throne, no royal robes, just a baby wrapped in cloth, lying in a manger. Why would God, who can do anything, choose to hide his power? And here's the question you can't ignore. If Jesus lived that way, why do we work so hard to be boastful? James 4:16 tells us, how boastful and loudmouthed you are. Boasting of this kind is always wrong. Galatians 1:10 asks us, am I now seeking the favor of men or of God? Or am I trying to please men? If I were still pleasing men, I should not be a servant of Christ. Paul reminds us our labor must be for God's approval, not man's applause. Let's be real. Most of us who call ourselves Christians, we don't actually live like Christ. We know the verses, we go to church, we sing the songs, we post the quotes. We say, oh yes, I believe in Jesus. But if someone followed us with a camera for a week, would they see Jesus in our actions? James 1:22 says, but be doers of the word and not hearers, only deceiving yourselves. We say we believe, but when we lose our temper at home, when we gossip among ourselves, when we so seldom part with our troubled conscience, we do so because we seek comfort from one another's conversation and wish to ease the mind wearied by diverse thoughts. So, we talk and think quite passionately of things we like very much or of things we dislike intensely. But, sad to say, we often talk vainly and to no purpose, for this external pleasure actively bars inward and divine consolation. And here's the hard truth. Sometimes Christians act worse than people who don't believe at all. But let's look at Jesus, because his example will destroy our pride and transform our hearts if you allow him. Matthew 6:21, for wherever your treasure is, there will your heart be too. He said in Matthew 28:18, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. The hands that form mountains, wrapped in swaddling cloth, the voice that spoke creation into being, crying like a newborn, the one who feeds every living creature, drinking milk from his mother. Philippians 2:6-7 says, though he was in the form of God, he emptied himself, taking the form of a servant. He could calm storms with a word, yet he let himself be carried wherever Mary went. He could summon angels, Matthew 26:53, yet he fled with his family to Egypt. Before Pilate and Herod, both eager to see his power, in Luke 23:9 says, he made no answer. On the cross, the crowd mocked him. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross, Matthew 27:40. But he stayed, not because he couldn't come down, because his love for us kept him there. John 10:18, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. And here's the uncomfortable part. We do the opposite. We hide our weaknesses and brag about our strengths. We drop hints about our successes. We post pictures to look more holy than we are. We care more about people seeing us than God seeing us. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Sickness persecution, temptation, mortification, and more. Paul assures believers that these trials become the dwelling place of Christ's power, the power of Christ. Philippians 1:29 says, "For unto you it is given for Christ not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him." So long as we live in this world, we cannot escape suffering and temptations. For this reason, it is written in the book of Job, "The life of man upon earth is a warfare." When Jesus walked this earth, he was rejected by everyone. Even his closest friends abandoned him in his darkest hour. He faced insults, betrayal, and pain willingly. So tell me, what right do you have to complain? Jesus had enemies who slandered him. Do you expect everyone to cheer for you? True strength is tested in hardship. How will your patience grow if you never face challenges? How can you call yourself a follower of Christ if you're not ready to suffer for him? Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wants to be a follower of mine, let him renounce himself and take up his cross and follow me." Matthew 16:24. If you've ever truly felt Jesus' love, even just a spark of it, you wouldn't care about your own comfort. You'd welcome every struggle, every insult, because loving him means putting yourself aside and following him. In Matthew 6:4, Jesus says, "Your Father who sees in secret will reward you." What if we stopped trying to be noticed and started living to make Jesus noticed? What if we served without credit, forgave without applause, prayed in secret, gave in secret, loved in secret, trusting God to see all? You can start today. Choose one hidden act of love. Do it without telling anyone, and let God smile over it. The world doesn't need more Christians who look powerful. It needs followers who live like Jesus, hidden, humble, full of love. Because in the end, it's not about being seen. It's about seeing him and hearing, "Well done, good and faithful servant."